Hey everybody, welcome to the second part of the Kakitai Japanese videos. I don't know if this is going to be a running series or just like the two-part thing. If you didn't see the first one, I posted a walkthrough of kind of loosely how I learned hiragana. I use Gogo Nihon, which is a phone app hosted by Gogo Nihon schools in Japan. They're a series of schools that you can physically go to in Japan, and they help you with like your visa stuff and your taxes, and you go to school and you learn Japanese. But they have an app that you can get on your phone, and it's called Hiragana Quest. It teaches you hiragana and katakana, and then some of the modifiers, and it does it in an interesting way where it shows you them in a specific order, and it gives you a story, and it gives you building blocks. And if you saw the hiragana video, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. I went through all of the base hiragana in the first video. In this video, we're going to go through the katakana, which is just going to be the base without the modifiers, probably, because the modifiers just change the sounds and everything. Kakitai is something new that I'm used to using, or new to using, I should say, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it particularly, but this is on the computer, and this is a totally free app you can download. I'm on Windows. I don't know if it's on iOS as well, but it's just, you go on, I went on the Windows store and it was just free, so you can look it up and see if it's on iOS. I don't know, but this is totally free. The Gogo Nihon app is free for the first lesson to see if you like it. If you don't like the teaching method it does, you don't pay anything at all. If you do like the first lesson, which teaches you 7 characters in a row, it teaches you the first full course. If you don't like that, if you do like it, you can pay, I think it's like $5 or $6 for the full app, and it's got tests, and it's got like different combinations of things, and it teaches you all the way through. So I really liked the Gogo Nihon app the way it taught me, but everyone learns differently. Some people learn better pen and paper just repeating. Some people learn better via flashcards or via just learning vocab. Oh my god, am I getting an ad? Hold on, I'm running a music playlist and I just got an ad. Why? What? Okay, that's not gonna work. What? No. I don't... Okay, hold on. I might have to switch the music because I wasn't expecting that. Oh no, that's not good. I was trying to get like some good background music, you know what I mean? And it was like, here, have an ad. So now I'm gonna hope that the audio's okay. Oh man, I really wasn't expecting that. Let me turn this down. I'm sorry, guys. I've been playing that music for a while now, and it I didn't get an ad all that time that I was prepping for the stream. That's so funny. Okay, sorry for that interruption. But yeah, so Gogo Nihon is my phone app that I used to learn katakana and hiragana, and I haven't practiced in a few days really, so I know I'm rusty. So once you learn hiragana, so I would say, as somebody who's totally new and does not speak or whatever, I would say learn hiragana first, because hiragana contains the building blocks. That's my opinion. I learned hiragana front to back, and then I moved on to katakana, because a lot of the katakana is based on the hiragana. So if you know the hiragana, you can kind of figure out the katakana for most of the characters. There's some that are totally different, but a lot of them are very similar or like variations of. That's just my 2 cents. Again, I'm not a teacher and I'm not an expert and I'm brand new to this. I only just started, so many weeks ago. But using the Gogo Nihon app, I was able to, in my opinion, I felt like I got through the hiragana and the katakana very quick. I know some people who learn it in one day. I did not learn it all in one day. I don't have that kind of memory. But even just doing a few minutes a day or like half an hour, an hour a day, like I was picking stuff up in like I was getting it in like a week or 2. So even if you do like a few of the courses on the Gogo Nihon app a day, like 1 or 2, I think it teaches you 7 to 9 characters per course. It depends on the course. It's really not that hard, and then you can just you can do as many tests as you want. So if you want to just keep repeating the drawing of the character and the sounds and reading the building blocks and the stories, you can do that. So I'm gonna I have my Gogo Nihon open on my phone screen so that I can, if I need to refer to the story that I was referencing from the hiragana video, I can go back and do that. I gotta remember how to get to things in this Kakitai app, though. So here, do I have my cursor turned on? Let's see, do I have my cursor turned on? There we go, okay. So kana characters is you practicing your hiragana, katakana, characters, words. You can do lots of things in this app. This is not just the alphabet, this is words, this is like phrases. This has all the modifiers and everything, which you do not do in the Gogo Nihon app. So, we did the hiragana stuff last time. So today we're going to move into katakana. And for now, we're just going to do the characters. And I'm going to walk you through, again, in the same order that Gogo Nihon teaches you because there's a structure to it. So it's not in the same order that you see here. And of course, this has all of your modifiers as well. It has your tenten and your maru, which are the little... Ooh, my cursor just made a really bad sound on the screen. Let me just make sure that's not scratching my screen. That would be bad. Okay. So the tenten are like these little 2 dots, basically. And then the maru is the single circular looking shape. So I'm just going to go through the base katakana on this one. And I'm going to give you kind of how Gogo Nihon teaches. So for this one, we start with ka. Now, if you remember from hiragana, I'll show you how that looks, essentially. My handwriting's still very bad, so please forgive that. Again, I'm super new to doing this, and I haven't practiced in a few days. So, in katakana, you kind of have this. And of course, it says it's wrong up here in the top right. This will tell you if you're right or wrong. This is reading it as katakana, so it's showing me I'm wrong, because I am wrong. This is not how it looks in katakana. In katakana, so remember, it's a karate fist. It's a little... So katakana is a little bit more angular than hiragana is more curly. There is no finishing strike on katakana. It's just the... And of course, every app has like a different font, so this one's a little bit more flat than the one that I learned in Gogo Nihon. And then you can also look at what the final strokes would be in like calligraphy, or you can look at what the stroke order is here just for tracing, if you want to trace like exactly. So it's the same symbol, just without the final strike. So that's the first one you jump into. Ki is sort of similar. In hiragana, you have 2 strokes that are parallel, and then you have this shape, and that's your ki for kiss, if you remember the story from the previous video. Now obviously, it's not telling us right or wrong because that's not a katakana shape. However, it is very similar. That's it. It's without the curly Q at the bottom. And again, you can pull it up. And you can trace it. Oops. And you do the 2 strokes and then the downstroke. So again, that's very similar. Sometimes I can't tell if this is music or a freaking mobile phone app. Oh my god. I don't know what that was. Was that... Did I seriously... Hold on. Okay, this is... I keep getting ads in my music, and I don't... Because I've played music on this before and never gotten ads, so let me find, let me find music with no ads, because I can't have ads playing. There's a basketball ad about to play. This is the worst lesson ever. What about this one? This one says it has no ads. Does it actually have no ads? Lord. Okay, let's try this one. Sorry, guys. This is why I'm not a teacher, because I am unorganized and unprofessional. We're just here for fun. Okay, so we did ka and ki, and we'll move on to ko. Now, if you remember, ko is your 2 koi spiraling each other, and actually, as you can see, it's still 2 strokes, but they're combined. So the koi have found their soulmate, and they're linked now. And again, if we clear, you can see the strokes. So again, those are pretty similar. There's a little variation, but not bad. And the same goes for se, which is also very similar. It just has 2 of its strokes are combined. So in hiragana, you have a horizontal, then you have a little hook, and then you have this, like a tail. And it's supposed to be for senpai, a snake carrying a baby snake on its back. However, in katakana, you combine the first and second stroke into an angular point, and then you bring out this, and you have that. So you have one stroke, and then the tail. So again, those are all pretty similar to your hiragana. In hiragana, we remember that nap is this. However, if we just take the first part of that, that's it. That's na for nap in katakana. So you can see some of these are simple if you know the hiragana. Again, if you know the hiragana, you can piece them together, or you can recognize them, even if you're not like fluent in reading yet. After na, we go to ni. So ni in hiragana was that character, and in this, it's literally just this. It's 2 lines. And even though it shows it up top as like it's the font that's showing you. So every font has its variations. So you just have to be aware, which as a new reader it can be hard to recognize font differences because some fonts are very different. In hiragana, no was this. In this, it's just that first stroke. That's it. He is one of the, maybe the only character, or one of the very few characters, that stays exactly the same. It's this in hiragana and in katakana. So, that one's easy to remember because it looks the same in either. As long as you know it, you know it. We move on to mo. Mo is similar as well. The difference being in hiragana, you draw sort of a fish hook, and then you draw 2 strokes. In katakana, you draw a short stroke, a longer stroke, and then an angular sort of shape that connects, and you draw them in that backwards order. You draw the parallel lines first in katakana. There is a difference. So if I pull up the stroke order, you can see it says do this first, then you're connecting flat stroke. After mo, we move on to ya, which again is also very similar. So Nogogo no Ihan starts you with the characters that are similar. Oop, not yo. Yeah, sorry. Clicked on the wrong one. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So in hiragana, you have this loosely, and you can see it's kind of reading it as correct. This app isn't super refined with detecting stroke, and I can understand why because it's calligraphy based. But again, it's a connected angular stroke like that. You just don't have this top thing, and this, instead of being curled, is sharp. After ya, we go to ri, which is somewhere down here. In hiragana, you have that, and you can see it's detecting it as correct because it is without the little hook tail on that first character. Very similar. Very, very similar. If we move on to tsu. So tsu in hiragana is kind of like a tsunami wave. However, and this one I haven't really gotten good at reading yet. I know how to draw them, but I'm bad at reading them. So sometimes I'm like, is it this one? Is it that one? And it also, again, depends on the font or the handwriting. But in this one, it is a stroke, and then a downward swoop. And that's tsu, so like tsunami. And you can see that's the order. Now, to make it more confusing for somebody who is new, where is it? Shi. So in hiragana, shi is like a fish hook, just the fish hook without the lines. However, in katakana, it is line, upward stroke. And that is shi. So you can see that shi and tsu sound very different phonetically, but very close in terms of looks. Now, Gogo Nihon pushes you into a pictograph series, which can be handy because you can help remember the story. So in Japan, a lot of people sleep on traditional futons, as the English word would be, and the side of the futon looks like this. Let's imagine this is the top of the futon, and this is the curve if it was on the floor, like let's imagine it's on the floor. So, futon is a base shape. That's a building block in katakana. Now, if you have a wool blanket on top of your futon, it's showing the shape, but it's showing it as wrong. Why is it showing it as wrong? Oh, because I hit on fluor. My bad. Hold on. Oops. Oops. Worst teacher ever. But we're learning together. I'm not trying to teach. So, again, if you have a wool blanket on your futon, there we go, now it's the right thing. That's your wool blanket, and instead of being 1 stroke, it is 2 strokes on this. So you have 3 strokes for woe. Now for su, if a sumo wrestler sleeps on your futon, it might need a little reinforcement, right? So you have your futon, and then you have your reinforcement. And that's your su. Now, if you're a messy eater, and you're eating your ramen on your futon, you might drop a ramen noodle on your futon. And that's your little noodle on top of your futon. See, so the pictograph series helps. Like, once you learn one symbol, you can kind of continue on. Now, let's say, again, you're a messy eater. Maybe you've made even a bigger mess this time, and you've dropped wasabi on your futon, and it's dripping down. So you have a drop of wasabi, and then you have your futon. 2 strokes. Of course, you know, it looks almost the same, but technically it is stroke down and then 2nd stroke. And that's your wasabi, dripping down. Now, you've dropped your wasabi on your futon, but you want to try and undo the mess. So you undo. You might try to pour water onto your wasabi spilled futon. And it can also, be connected. My handwriting is not great, but you get the general hint. And again, it's all practice, and when you practice on gridded paper, it's obviously a lot easier than drawing on a blank screen with no gridding. On the Food Futon series continued, if you... Let me see. Oh, it shows it different on here. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I'm on the wrong thing. I'm like, I thought it was for N. I'm wrong. My bad. This one. New. Okay. So you're on your futon. You're having a snack. And you drop some nuts and they bounce off the floor. So just imagine that's like a bouncing motion. Just erase that. But yeah, so that's new for nut. So that's like the nut bouncing motion. And obviously with a calligraphy pen, it looks a little bit more like a motion line than a cursor on a screen. So yeah, that's your NU sound. Now we start getting into, again, more food with your futon. Okay. If you eat... Now, I don't know if you know this, but Kentucky Fried Chicken in Japan is, for a lot of people, the traditional Christmas Day meal. If you didn't know that. And they sell special Christmas Day bundles, and they're really expensive, and like sometimes you have to be on like a waiting list for like months or weeks or something, and it might cost you $100, and it comes with like a cake and all kinds of crazy sides that we don't see in America, and then obviously the chicken, because they don't have, like, I think it kind of spouted from an idea that like a turkey dinner is the traditional sort of Christmas Day dinner kind of thing. And turkey's not really a thing in Japan as far as I'm aware, at least not that I've ever heard or seen. But chicken is. So I think because... And it's funny because, you know, Japan, I want to say, I don't know what the current stats are, but Japan's like 1% Christian. So Christmas is an aesthetic thing there. It's very much a secular thing. It's very much a commercialized holiday. Like, lots of companies jump on the Christmas bandwagon and do Christmas specials or Christmas sales, or, you know, there's lots of decor and everything, and there's Christmas music. But it's not religious like in Christian countries where you go to church or you have like family togetherness, or Christmas is actually considered a couple's holiday in Japan. So it's more like a date kind of day than a family togetherness kind of holiday, if that makes sense. So Kentucky Fried Chicken is a big thing. Not for everyone, but it is a big thing. Like if you Google it, you can find some of the stuff, or go on YouTube and look at videos. But that is a thing. Oop, hold on. I accidentally hit my phone button. Ah. Hold on. I lost my place because I clicked the thing. Okay. Now that you know Kentucky Fried Chicken's a big thing in Japan, if you eat Kentucky Fried Chicken on your futon, because this was going somewheres, you should put it on a tray so that you don't make a mess, because Kentucky Fried Chicken, as we all know, probably, is, greasy and crumbly, the crunchy crust and everything, and batter. And if you got sides, you don't want to get it all over the place, so you want to put your Kentucky Fried Chicken on a tray. And my phone is having a field day, so I'm trying to follow this thing. And so let's say this is your chicken wing or your chicken drumstick or whatever. And then you want to put it on a tray, and it's on the edge of the tray. This is, an allegory I did not make up. And then this is the edge of your futon. So now you're eating your Kentucky Fried Chicken. Let's say you still manage to make a mess. And you get Kentucky Fried Chicken grease all over your futon. And what do? You throw a tantrum. So here's your wing, and your tray fell over, and you've got a whole mess, and now you've got this whole big mess, and you're throwing a tantrum. And look how much nicer this looks compared to like what I'm making. But so that's your ta character. Now ku is for if you can manage to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken on your futon without making a mess, you deserve kudos because you haven't made a mess. So it's a similar symbol, but without the tray falling over. And no mess. And I know this is silly, but this is literally the sort of stuff that Gogo Nihon teaches you in the app. So I'm just relaying the story as I was taught. But it does help you learn when you're doing it repeatedly and you're reading these things. Because they give you like a whole paragraph story. And they also give you cultural information as you're doing it on the app. It's not just like a sentence. It's like a whole block of text. Now, we're going to move off of our futon. When you're writing on a computer, or you're typing on a computer, I should say, usually, you have a cursor, right? And the cursor you use to edit your text. What does a cursor look like on a computer? Now, this is confusing to some people because, of course, in English, that looks like a capital I. But it's an E. So that's your cursor for edit, and edit is how you remember your little cursor symbol. Moving from E, we go to O, and this is kind of another pictograph, for the Phantom of the Opera, being dramatic. So he has his arm out, he's down on one knee being dramatic, and he's whooshing his cape open. And I'm sure aside from the brush width, not too bad, right? So that's your O. Phantom of the Opera is your O. Now this one I always forget, and I don't know why I have a problem remembering this when I see it, but when you go out on a safari, you might see a bison or some other kind of horned creature, and that's the front of a bison's head. You have the little ear sticking out, and you have little horns, and then this is like its face, right? So you're on safari. Sa. I don't know why, but Sa is one of the few katakana that, like, whenever it pops up in a quiz, I'm like, I don't remember what it looks like. And if I can't think of safari, then I can't figure it out. I don't know why. It's one of the very few that I just don't remember. We're going to move on to chi. If you give children a bunch of grapes, they'll probably devour them. Now, if you imagine an empty grape stem after giving it to a bunch of kids. So, stroke direction matters on this one. So you go down from this corner here, you go straight across here, and then you go a little bit swoosh, and that's your chi for children who have devoured your grapes. Let's see, the next one is te. If you go camping, you bring a tent with you. Now you'd think, oh, tent, like this. No, that's not tent. Tent is for tent pole, or for the stakes, tent stakes that you might put into the ground. So you imagine you're hammering, that's the bottom of your hammer. This is the top of the stake, and then your stake bends because you're terrible at putting stakes in the ground. So that's your ta, or te, pardon me. Now if we move into A, this one again is very different than the hiragana. Imagine shooting an arrow from a bow, And this one shows it more curved. On Gogo Nihon, it's very straight, but yeah. So 2 strokes, like that. And that's your A. Ha in katakana is like a clothes hanger that you would put your clothes on. That one's pretty simple. Scroll back down. He is another one that for some reason so in hiragana you have hippo, right? Like it looks like a little hippo. It's a little hippo. Look at little hippo. In this one it is hiccup. So not hippo. So you have an arm and it's a kid reaching up for its mom because he has the hiccups and he's like, "Mom, hiccup, 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 hiccup." Continuing our H theme, we go into so for this one, a good housewarming gift or home warming gift would be a corkscrew, and this one kind of looks like one of those. I don't know if there's another like specific term for it, but it's a type of corkscrew that like you push down and then it's got like a plunger. I don't know, and it's got little arms. I don't know if anyone ever had those growing up. Our house did, but I don't know if anyone else knows what I'm talking about, or if I just sound like a crazy person. But this shape for ho looks very much like that. So you have a straight bar across, you have the piece that goes down into the cork, and then you've got the little arms that come up. And the clear my so there we go. Your housewarming gift. Going from there, we go to it's good manners in a packed subway or in a packed street to keep your hands close to yourselves, or maybe put your hands in your pockets. So imagine this is an elbow, and this is your arm and your elbow, and then it's tucked into the pocket. So your manners, your hands in your pockets. It's kind of just like a good chite little shape like that. After that shape, we have... I always do this one poorly, I'm not gonna lie, but it's me. So 3 blind mice, right? 3 blind mice running across the floor. It's funny because on Gogo Nihon it shows it more like angled, but on here it's pretty straight. So 3 blind mice, that's a good way to remember that. One of the best instruments in music, MU, is the triangle. So you just imagine playing the triangle. And then what is the... Okay, this one's another one that for some reason my brain does not retain. It's for mesh, M-E-S-H, and you just imagine a cross-H, like a crosshatch, for like mesh, like you would have like this, only it's just one intersection. But whenever I see this on the quiz, I always forget what it is, as is this next character, which is funny. Imagine the side of a building, and it's dumping out toxic waste, and that's like the little pipe that comes out. And I don't know why, but I always forget this one in katakana as well. Moving forward, we have you. So in hiragana, you have yukata is the keyword. In this one, Yuletide, like Christmas. Christmas is back. And you imagine kind of like Frosty's hat. And there you go. That's you. Little stovepipe hat or top hat. Yo is a little bit easier to remember because it's the key word for katakana is yo-yo. So you have, if you imagine laying a yo-yo down on a table, and this is the side of the yo-yo, right? So if you have, it's the outline of the yo-yo. Here's the string in the middle. All right, so 1 stroke to the right and down, and then strokes to the side. So like a backwards E in English, anyways. And then ro for the mouth of a robot. Now, they tell you to use the mouth of a robot as the memory because this is also the kanji for mouth, apparently. So, again, it's downstroke. That's one stroke, and then one stroke across for the end. And then we move into more pictograph, which is... Imagine a referee at a soccer match or football game, and he's got his arm up. He's calling the shots. So that's the little referee and his arm up. And similar to the referee, imagine he's explaining the rules to somebody. So you have similar to the criminal shape. So let's say somebody in trouble, and he's throwing the flag at him, waving the flag. So that's ru. So and en are kind of similar, at least to me as a beginner. I know that they're not the same, but you have, and I'm gonna forget if it's up or down. Yeah, it's gonna give me the wrong one. Okay, hold on. Really? Give me this. There we go. Like, it's being very sensitive on what it's detecting. But so is good for like soy. So imagine this is like your bowl, and you're throwing some soy sauce in it. All right, that's always, can't go wrong there. However, the letter N by itself is very similar. And you're like, well, what do they use for N? In Gogo Nihon, they teach you rain, like the end of rain, like to put emphasis on the N. And then your umbrella. And I think angle makes a bigger difference in this than anything. Because I think so is more vertical. And N is more horizontal, like more tilted. But it's still, as a beginner, it's hard to tell the difference when you're trying to read. Oops. No, I went out of it. Nope. We're not there yet. We're not there. We're almost done, though. The next one is... Wait, did I go into... Oh, Jesus Louise. I'm... Hot mess. Y'all are going to be like, this person does not know what they're talking about. No, I do not. But that's like I said, I'm not a teacher. I'm just doing this for fun to share what I'm doing with people. So in this one, imagine a sumo wrestler squeezing on his necktie when he's going to a formal event. So you start with a little top stroke, a futon-esque shape, a line down, and then a line to the side. So just imagine you're tightening a necktie. Let's see what the handwriting... Okay, so... Okay, they don't connect it on here. On Gogo Nihon, it's connected. After ne is the last one, which is the letter I. If you're an illustrator, you might have a slanted illustrator, a drafting table, a desk. So you go right to left, and then straight down. And that's the side of your table. You're hard at work. Alright, so again, right to left, straight down. And that's your eye. Now, just like anything else, there are all the modifiers for, just like hiragana. There are a few sound differences. I think we talked about them in the hiragana video. As you can see, as I scroll through, you kind of see most of the same sort of modifiers. We won't go through drawing all of those on here because we'll be here for 5 hours. There are combinations of characters. So, for example, if you put a smaller sized vowel after you combine the sounds, just like kind of in hiragana. So, for example, this is an A plus Ki. So instead of being Kia, it's combining the sounds of Yakuza. So like Ya, because this is Ya. So Kia, but if it's smaller, it's Kya instead of Kia. Same with this. If you put U after Ki, you get Q. You're removing that middle vowel. And that goes for all these different combinations here that you can see. And then all the modified variations. So this one, instead of being hiccup, would be pi, or P, technically. And by putting U after, you get Pu. You can have double consonants as well if you put what they call a small tsunami before it. So that's another thing. So a small tsunami in front of a symbol, you get a double consonant. And also, I believe this is only in katakana if I remember correctly. If you change your U via modifier, you can also make it a V sound. And that's used a lot for foreign words because there's not really, I don't think in Japanese there really are V sounds. But if you were to, like, if your name was Victor, you might use something like that. So yeah, I know we went more in depth in this in the hiragana video, and the hiragana video is like twice as long as this, but I also know that's a lot to sit through, especially if you're not really interested. But again, and if you wanted to go, so again, a reminder, this is a free app. So you not only have characters, you can learn characters just like we did. Pardon me. You can do tests where they give you so many characters, and you can set how many characters you want per quiz. Like if you only want to do 10 at a time, you can pick 10, or you can make it random, or you can put all of them at once and just go through and do all of them on a loop, and it'll grade you. My stats are weird because I've been using this to record and not really for actual testing purposes. So you have your word test, you have words to practice, which we haven't done. You have multiple choice options if you want to do that for recognition. And you can do that for either of them. You can also combine both hiragana and katakana, and Gogo Nihon also allows that for your testing. You can choose to be tested on all of it, which is good if you confuse them. And you can also do multiple choice. But you can also do kanji characters, which I have not started, but I need to start doing like soon. And you can also do words and sentences. There's also some games and word search puzzles and stuff like that. And then there's flashcards. So this app kind of has a little bit of everything depending on what you like to do. And if you're either doing this on a tablet of some kind, or if you're doing it on a drawing display, obviously the writing is much easier than using, say, a mouse. So if you have like an iPad or like a Windows Surface or a Wacom tablet or any of that sort of stuff, I don't know what other devices, I mean, like I said, I don't know if this is available on mobile or not. I haven't looked, but Gogo Nihon is on mobile, and you can use your finger to draw on a big grid on there, and that's how I learned. So there are lots of options, and I actually just stumbled across a YouTube channel yesterday. I think it's called Life with Mori, or Mori's Life, or something like that, Mori. And she is a Filipino woman who moved to be an ALT in Japan. I don't know if she still is an ALT or if she was an ALT. She doesn't make like a ton of YouTube videos, but she makes almost all of her content is either about her move to Japan, her life as an ALT in Japan, being, not like English is not her first language, it's her second language, so that's also another take on it, because a lot of the JET and ALT people you see on YouTube are either from the UK, from Canada, or from the United States, so English usually is their first language. English is her second language, so it's also nice to see her take on being an English teacher as somebody who English is her second language. But she also shares a lot of resources and books and apps and games that she recommends, because when she moved to Japan, she literally went and enrolled in a Japanese language school and then graduated from it and then became an English teacher. So she recommends lots of resources, and she has like a very organized, very like set schedule for her studies, like how many kanji she learns per week or per day, how many how much writing practice she does, and she has it all very organized, and she lays it out very clearly. So if you want to like find more apps or games or things for your computer, books, whatever, she recommends a lot of good things in all of her videos. I actually want to go and watch her videos and write down like everything she recommends, because she's made a lot of progress in her time in Japan. Like between the language school obviously is a big help, but if you don't have access to a language school, like these apps are really good. Like a lot of these apps are very thorough. And obviously immersive learning is the best way to learn, but if you can't pick up and move to Japan tomorrow, which a lot of us obviously, especially during pandemic, can't do, it's the next best thing is to at least practice at home, whether it be online, like with that website like italki, where you go on and you talk to somebody face to face, like on webcam, and they correct you, and teach you things via actual conversation. Because a lot of textbooks, as anyone who's ever studied any language knows, like they teach you very stiff and weird phrases that you may never ever use, or it's in a very formal way or an informal way that people don't actually talk like. I never took Japanese in school, but I took French in school, and I know that like a lot of the stuff I had learned in my French classes over the years, like I either would never use if I went to France, or it would be very formal and stiff. No matter how good your pronunciation is, like the structure of the sentence just isn't natural to conversation, even as a foreigner. I mean, like, obviously a lot of places appreciate if you can speak any of their language, because it shows that you have some form of respect and you've put effort in. But that's why it's like people say, oh, I'll just get a phrase book and I'll go. And it's like, but the phrases really aren't always something you'll need, or aren't worded correctly. And especially when it comes to like reading Japanese, because kanji's a thing, it'd be one thing if everything was written in katakana or hiragana, then you'd be fine if you just learned the characters, because it's 46 characters each, and that's not really that much if you study and you keep it in your mind. But when it comes to like reading kanji, like even if you read hiragana and katakana, you won't be able to just decipher kanji. Like that's not how that works. So unless you know Chinese, if you know Chinese, then you're okay. But you'll be able to decipher a lot of kanji, because that's what kanji is. It's deciphered, basically. It's modified Chinese into different meanings. I should say that, because like kanji, even though the symbols are derivative, they don't have the same meaning exactly. And especially a lot of kanji has multiple meanings depending on the context. So there's thousands and thousands of kanji, and unless you study a lot, like very, very strict study routine, like every single day, and lots of repetition and lots of writing and lots of conversational practice or reading practice, or really you'd have to immerse yourself to learn quicker anyways. I'm not on that kind of routine right now. I'm not learning Japanese 8 hours a day. Some people do that. I, at least at present, am not. I only just started like January, really. I had learned some like words back in the day, but I didn't really I couldn't read hiragana or katakana back then. So this is the furthest I would say I've gotten in terms of learning. And I'm pretty proud of my progress, even with the spurts of not being able to practice or having time. But I want to continue it, even if I don't end up being like super fluent or native speaker level at any point, because I don't have, especially with pandemic, like it's not like I have a trip coming up that I'm hoping to learn for. This is just learning to learn, and then at some point in the future I would like to go and then hopefully I'll be able to at least get by by that point. But that won't be for a long while either way, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this little chill practice stuff, and if you want to see more, you can always let me know. And if you want to see something different, you can always let me know, because I mean this content is here for you here on Coffee, as a Coffee supporter, and I appreciate all your support. And I would like to start getting into kanji, so maybe we'll jump into that next. Otherwise, I'll see you on stream. Thank you again for all the support this month. I would like to remind you, in this month being February, when this goes out anyways, we are raising money for both Trans Lifeline still, and also for Black Girls Code, a nonprofit to help, I think it's girls 7 to 17 learn about the tech industry and learn how to code. And they have after-school programs, and they have workshops, and they have online resources and all sorts of things. It's a great nonprofit I've supported for numerous years now. And that's this month's Tiltify campaign. We're trying to raise $500, but the Tiltify campaigns we're running in 2021 will be up all year, so you can donate at any time. If you visit my Twitch, the links are always there in the chat command for Do Good, and they're also down below in my About Me FAQ section on Twitch. So that being said, I think we're done for right now, and I'll see you guys later today in stream, even though you probably won't see this before then. But I hope you guys have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Thanks again for chilling with me, despite weird YouTube ads popping up. And I'll see you next time. Bye.